My fucking hair is fucked up again. Okay, we're live now on a live stream. I guess I just wait for people to pile in here as per usual. Haven't done this one in a long time. This whole setup is something that I last ventured into when I was in the UK. I tried doing a live stream there, and I was so depressed that I literally could not talk. Hello, Necro Veronica. Hope it's hanging well. I'm hanging in there. I tried to do this live stream when I was in the UK with No Thank You by myself. I did one with him and one by myself, and I deleted it because I just could not handle being on stream when I was that depressed. So I'm gonna see if me depressed now can handle being on stream, because last time like my energy was so low that I just died. I died and then the stream died. Good morning, Osaka Nation, says very excited dog. Good morning to you. Anthematic Lullaby says hello, and Bash says hello as well. Hi there, welcome to the stream. I've been like relatively high energy these last couple days. I'll tell you, I have felt on top of the world in many respects. Not to say that there haven't been, ups and downs in my mood. That's everybody. But I felt really good because I've been reunited with Sophia, and it's going to be permanent this time. She and I are together in a permanent capacity. But the thing that always happens to me, that inevitably happens to me, no matter how good times are, is I end up like hitting this slump where I just feel like awful, which is, of course, to be expected. Like, your circumstances changing aren't going to change the realities of one's mental health conditions, right? But it it hit me like a freight train today. Hi Osaka, hi Nostalgia. I don't know anyone named Nostalgia, but hello Skim, welcome to the chat. It hit me like a freight train today because I was just sitting there making my beans on toast, and about a quarter of the way through, I I just felt awash in depression. Like it felt like my whole body like just started to slump, and I felt like I was struggling to carry myself, to carry my own weight. And ever since then, it feels like I've been thinking at like 20% processing power. Like, imagine you're a computer and you're utilizing like 80% of your RAM most of the time. I'm at like 20 or 15% of my RAM that I'm capable of utilizing. No solid state drive either. So now I'm just like, it was going up like this, and now I'm just like that. Um, but how is everybody else doing today? How is everyone? What's going on? Interesting times we're living in. World's always changing. Uh, we're always changing, even if we think we're not changing. So what are the happenings in this happenstance world of happenstances? What are the happenings thereabouts? I'd love to know. Um, but yeah, I thought I would do a live stream. I am intoxicated. Your friend has told me your worries of my intoxication. Yeah, I mean, I see you drunk like almost all the time, and it reminds me of, even though I'm just a couple years older than you, it reminds me of when I used to drink. specifically when I used to drink when I was like 18, like 17, 18 years old, and I would drink just all the time, like all the time. And like I look back on that and I just kind of regret it. I regret like the brain damage that I probably like almost certainly got from doing that. Um, and I regret some of the things I may have said or done in relation to the addiction that I used to have. And so it's been like weird to see someone that I know and someone that I care about, at least relatively speaking, um, start to go through what I went through in the past that I've now overcome. Like I don't drink anymore. I don't do drugs of any kind anymore. I had like a THC seltzer the other day, which is no alcohol in it. It was just uh, like a carbonated water with a little bit of THC in it. But that was like the first drug anything I had since like literally November when I stopped absolutely everything cold turkey. And I don't plan on taking or drinking just about anything from here on out. So I I've seen my life drastically improve because of that, and I still hold regrets about my past usage. So I guess just seeing someone that I like uh, going through similar things, it's been a little bit saddening to me. That's all. Let's see. Nice shirt. I love Johnny Hobo. I'm coming back from the Grand Canyon. Well, nice. I'm in New Mexico right now, so Arizona ain't even that far away. I hope you enjoyed your time there in the Grand Canyon. Beautiful, beautiful state. I'm pretty bummed. Crap seems pretty bleak for me. I think you made an incel video at some point, and I've been subscribed ever since due to me being in that sphere. Yeah, there are a couple times I've talked about incels and incelism. I've never identified as an incel myself, although that's a thing that people have called me. I had the opportunity of having sex with a cis girl when I was 13 years old, actually two different opportunities to do so, though I had refused at the time. And so I think when you're getting attention of that nature that early on, it's kind of impossible to call yourself an incel, but I also just reject the term in and of itself. I don't think someone can be involuntarily celibate. I think that's a voluntary action that's taken due to a number of factors. I mean, if someone who looks like me can get laid, I think it's pretty easy to do if you just know what you're doing. Hi, Star. I'm your biggest fan. Shout out from the Middle East. I'm a mentally disabled addict. Your videos inspire me. Well, thank you. I'm glad that I'm able to inspire you and, obviously just, keep on trying, keep on going. I hope the advice that I've been able to give in videos has been helpful to you. Phone is gonna die. F. R.I.P. I appreciate your worries deeply. Know that I'm good and my life has been on this level forever and that I'm good. Also, I'm a huge incel. Ignore my relationships. I identify as an incel. Um, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, the whole incel thing is at this point kind of a countercultural identity. I feel like it's like a thing you can call yourself when you want to be disgusting to the mainstream. Yeah. And yeah, keep on trucking. I'm gonna keep an eye out for you. I'm gonna keep on looking out. Hopefully when I go up to Canada, we'll be able to hang out. Um, let's see here. Hello, I have greatly enjoyed listening to your insights about life for a while now. Thank you for being yourself. Well, thank you for watching. No, it's still insane to me sometimes that this many like random people from all over the world, I don't even know where a lot of you guys come from or found my videos, find the insights that I have or the random fucking bullshit that I have to say inspiring or interesting to hear about. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Um, I feel like other people, they go to therapy, they have like a whole team of doctors like dissecting their mind to make sure that they're all right and to help steer them through the trials and tribulations of this world. But I've gone through all of that rigmarole, and at this point, I'm pretty confident in saying that the thing that's been the most helpful to me is this. Doing this whole YouTube thing is my fucking therapist. This is my psychiatrist because while I've gotten some good advice on how to manage my emotions or how to behave from doctors, it hasn't been anywhere near as helpful as just venting to the camera like this and then having some people, supportive people, from this community actually be willing to listen to it and to provide their thoughts in response to the things that I'm doing and saying. Like, there's some advice I've gotten on this channel that was way more helpful to me than any advice I got from a doctor. So thank you, people who comment and say stuff. Are incel, as in boohoo, woman won't do me, and the type, that like negative XP, different types of people that just both use the name incel? Well, I mean, I think the thing that makes an incel is whether or not you call yourself an incel. It's kind of a made up category, so if it wants to be even more made up than it already is, then it can be. It is more helpful to listen to other similar people around the world for me. I relate to that a lot. Star, I'll PayPal you $20 if you say shout out to Xanagus and shout out to Ela and Fitbag from Israel. Well, I just said it right there. You don't have to send me any money if you don't want to, but if you want to, I appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to Xanagus and shout out to Ela and Fitbag from Israel. Hi, Osaka. Just came back from a party. Glad to see there's a stream on. I'm from Ireland. I've shown my friends your videos, and a few of them have found them very inspiring. A writer friend has even started recording similar voice notes for himself because it's so therapeutic for him. Well, I hope you enjoyed the party that you went to, and that's incredible. Thank you. Um, yeah, I mean, there's something about like spilling your thoughts out like this that feels really integral to being able to even like complete a thought in the first place, or maybe not even complete a thought, but just feel like a thought is complete. Like I'll kind of have the vague idea of a thought in my head, and then in order to build on it and expound upon it, I'll start to record a video, and the missing pieces of the thought will come up in the video. Like I'll start recording and I won't know exactly what I'm gonna say, but as I go, I end up like building up the point. I end up like going down different roads that I didn't necessarily know were connected to the point that I was thinking about. So even if I have the thought like already complete in my head where I don't have to do that, like sifting through the information as I go in the video, um, it's nonetheless helpful just to say it because it'll feel like, okay, now I'm done with it. Now the thought is actually complete. But yeah, I'm really glad that your friends have been able to be helped by the stuff I do. Hey Osaka, what are your opinions on the Discord Pentagon leak? I don't fucking care about Ukraine or Russia or the war or any of that, but I think it's really funny that like crucial intelligence documents were leaked on fucking Discord. Like, if you're gonna be leaking intelligence documents, wouldn't you use like Matrix or Telegram or like, I don't know, fucking PGP over Tor? Like, literally anything else other than fucking Discord, like the most spyware glow chat room in existence, where there's just about 300 feds lurking beneath the code in every fucking chat room. Very silly. But I looked more into the case, and apparently, and the CNN article is literally quoted as saying this about the guy who leaked the documents, that he was a quote unquote lonely young man from the US Air Force. And if we know anything about when lonely young men do something that is dangerous to others or the government, all of them get lumped in together. So if you're a lonely young man out there and you live in the United States or Canada, maybe you should be a little worried, but I am literally engaged, so I have nothing to worry about. I also think this is going to lead to Discord being monitored a lot more heavily. And so if you do shit that even remotely glows on Discord, I think from now on, those 100 feds in the source code that are like just lurking below, waiting for their moment to jump out and get ya, expect 100 more. I have to verbalize it in order to fully flesh it out. Yeah, I either have to do that or write it out. Although usually when I write something out, it's because I've verbalized it unscripted so many times that I feel like I can finally write about it. I think talking about your thoughts and getting things off your chest can be helpful itself in a lot of ways. Yeah, I agree. The air is so fucking dry here. I keep having to fuck with my nose. Um, when you talk about your thoughts out loud, you either get better at explaining it or realizing how stupid it sounds. Yeah, I agree. Generic question, but what are your thoughts on Gen Z compared to millennials, and how do you think they'll change society, and how their upbringing will affect their adulthood? Well, I mean, for one, Gen Z is leaving the home at a way lower rate than millennials are. So Gen Z are staying at home with their parents who have an income, have a good job or something. And as a result of this, they're buying a lot more luxury goods with the jobs that they have or the money that they save and get from their family. And I think this is like creating artificial stimulus in the economy because you have so many people who are not renting anywhere, they just live with their parents. So all of their expendable income they spend on like random stuff that millennials might not have necessarily bought. I also think Gen Z is going to have way more debt than millennials did, or basically any generation before them. It seems like there's like a lot more use of credit cards and loans and just all kinds of things. Like Gen Z is going to have so much debt, which is probably going to affect them a lot in adulthood because uh, we have credit scores in this country and that affects your access to all kinds of things. I think that's also going to affect the political orientation of these people because, the more debt you have, I feel like the more likely you are to be progressive because you're going to start wanting to cancel the debt Fight Club style. Um, yeah, I also think being raised on the internet leads to Gen Z people having less of a disgust response to things. And I think that tends to make them more progressive because you're less disgusted by minorities and the gays and stuff. Yo, Osaka, what's up? Not much. I mean, I'm just doing a live stream. I'm pretty depressed. I was hanging out with Sophia earlier. I ate some beans on toast. I can't believe furries control our online communication. Do they? Um, can you do a troll face on cam? I don't even know where to begin with that one. There's someone encouraging me to do it. What's even funnier is that the guy brought in the leaks to help aid his Discord argument. Wait, what? I did not know that. That's really fucking funny. It's probably one of the funniest military blunders out there. It will be in the history books. Oh yeah, for sure. Discord has made it into the history books. Um, Taking out that third mortgage for a Dragon Ball Z Bardock figure. Literally, yeah. Ate some beans on toast. British? Is that exclusively British? Um, I don't think that's exclusively British. Uh, I think that was primarily eaten in the Great Depression in the United States, right? Like and in the UK, but I feel like that's a British and American thing. In the American South, beans on toast are really commonly eaten. Also in the Old West. So yeah, I mean I'm in New Mexico right now, which is, situated in the American Southwest cowboy country. And back in the day, when this was like relatively uninhabited land that was being explored, considered kind of like no man's land. The cowboys who were out here would eat beans on toast. Um, okay, here I'm being given instructions on how to do the troll face, and yet I refuse. Maybe the military will finally use its massive budget helping us, quote unquote, lonely young men. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too doomsday about it, but so what you're saying is that Gen Z are millennials but socially autistic? To some extent, yeah. Um, it's an Irish thing too. Speaking of Irish, Joe Biden is like up the road from me eating a chicken fillet roll. That's really funny. I saw on the news hour today when I was watching it that he gave a speech to the Irish Parliament because Southerners are British people and British people, I misread that, have a lot more in common culturally than people think. I mean, yeah, I've heard a couple people bring this up actually. The whole like stereotype about English people being extremely polite, I feel like it also applies to a lot of people from the South. While the image of Southerners in the media tends to be like being loud and brazen and individualistic, that is completely different from the upbringing that I was given. I was raised to understand everyone's feelings and consider everyone's feelings down to the smallest detail. I was raised to apologize a lot and to be humble and to not make mention of my feelings that may cause a ruckus or cause disorder in the community. A lot of like how to understand implied meaning and this kind of thing, how to reduce conflict wherever possible, how to recognize conflict wherever possible. Like this, like extreme level of politeness and non-confrontation was like pushed on me so much, as well as a general emphasis on respecting authority, in particular age. So people who are older than me or to my senior, it was really just crammed into my head that you have to treat those people as good as humanly possible. This is Southern manners. I mean, there's literally a term for this. It's Southern manners. We also have the term the Southern gentleman, which my mom basically raised me to be. It was extremely important to her that I would be like that. Um, and I think the English have more or less the same customs surrounding that. If you don't eat eggs and bacon or donuts for breakfast, you're basically British. That's really funny. Um, I mean, normies are still normal, I guess. It's just us internet people. Yeah. I'm out of any social group, so I don't know what normies are like, honestly. Yeah, I relate to that. Um, it applies to the South 100%. Southerners are British people. They literally immigrated here. I mean, didn't like British people immigrate to all of the country? I mean, the American colonialists were originally English. I mean, New England, I think New England still has like the highest concentration of people of British ancestry. And if you go to New England, especially the older people, but like a lot of the people there literally look like British people. It's kind of shocking. Um, and Scots slash Irish. And then our Melon says Scots and Irish are more Appalachian people, not Southern. This is correct. This is a correct statement. I mix up Appalachia and the South. I grew up in both areas. Interesting. Huh. The Southern comfort. He put a winky face there. I don't know what you're implying. How did I get this in my recommended when I unsubbed from you 2 weeks ago and also cleared my watch history? I have no idea. Probably because you've watched my videos in the past and they keep track of that regardless of clearing watch history. I mean, I still get recommendations even though I have watch history turned off and it's channels that I watch or see. Um, well, I gotta go. See ya. Bye bye. England seems really interesting. I would like to go. It is really interesting. I loved it there when I went there. I'm subbing again. I will never unsub from this channel ever again. I love you. Well, thank you. I love you too. England really fell off history-wise. I mean, yeah, they're not anywhere near as powerful as they used to be. Um, you would think you would think a country with so much historical power and territory would be able to, kind of stand the test of time, given how long they lasted. But um, Rome fell as well. I mean, at least in the UK's case, like they still have the island for now, until that Muslim and that Indian uh, decide how to partition the country, which the two of them are arguing about. Um, let's see here. Um, I'm implying the alcohol Southern comfort because I'm an Irishman off on the island of Ireland drunk SSM as a MF as an MFM asterisk. Hey Osaka, are you still a NEET? Yes, I am. England make a colony only for the colony to become the biggest superpower of all time. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, England still has an immense amount of control because of their banking. So the banks in London are immensely powerful. But England, after World War II, pretty peacefully gave the reins of the globe to the United States. They were basically like, yeah, you're our bastard child over here, but you saved this country during World War II, so now we're going to kind of progressively give up the various colonial holdings that we have and work with you in this new Cold War environment. By the way, why does the thumbnail say Sakaki syndrome? Are you implying Sakaki is the better Azu character? Because I agree, I am literally Sakaki IRL. I am not implying that. My friend Do Less actually made this image, and I never used it after he gave it to me to use as a thumbnail. Um, he might like Sakaki more. I prefer Osaka personally. How to earn a living as a NEET. Welcome to the NHK lifestyle. I get disability every month. I was pretty happy because my check from Social Security came in just today and I bought groceries with it. So I was really happy about that. But yeah, I get disability. John Paul Jones. Don't know what you're implying with that one. Shadow the Hedgehog says hello. Hello there. I think something interesting is that the South also has the highest amount of military enlistment. I think the reason for this, as someone who grew up in rural Tennessee, is the reason for this is because they literally go to the schools and ask for people to enlist. So every single year that I was in middle school and also high school, the military recruiters would come to the school and they would talk to us in our classroom. So we would have regularly scheduled lessons that they would interrupt to come into the classroom and tell us about the military and how to join and what the benefits are. If you do join, they heavily promoted the fact that they pay for college, and they kind of espoused a lot of like very pro-American sentiments. So that was basically what they did when they came there on the recruiting drive. They also had a table set up in the middle of the school where everybody would um, would walk through. So there was a spot in the central part of the school where no matter what class you were in, no matter what grade you were in, where you were going, you would walk past that table. So they had that table set up right there, right on Main Street. You'd walk through and they'd try to talk to you and give you pamphlets about the military in uniform. They were in uniform as they were doing this. Let's see here. I got my tax return today. Have TLK to return to work tomorrow. Um, I wish you all the best of luck. The work sucks. I love John Paul Jones. He sailed to the east, he sailed to the west, and he helped set America free. Okay. He was born in Greenock. What's your favorite manga or anime, and have you ever read Berserk? My favorite manga, just because I haven't read a lot of manga, is probably Yotsuba or the Welcome to the NHK manga, which is just an adaptation of the anime. My favorite anime is Cowboy Bebop, kind of standard fare. Wish I liked something a little more unique, but hey, I relate a lot to the struggles of the characters. As someone with PTSD, Bebop resonated with me like a lot. The Army knows their demographic is in the poverty-stricken South, although it's getting way better in the past years. A lot of the people who join the Army on the East and West Coast are people who are like in the middle class and played a lot of Call of Duty growing up. I think that's an interesting divide where like in the South, a lot of the people who join are poor and they're like looking for a better opportunity because of the lack of social mobility in those communities. And then on the East Coast and the West Coast, it's like these middle class kids who just really want to shoot a gun. My school also did the military thing, many such cases. Appalachia is still really poverty stricken in some areas, but other areas are basically just tourist traps. True. And those towns get enriched. It's really interesting. Yeah, I agree. I was going to enlist, but the Southern Hick scared me off since I'm darker skinned. I wanted to enlist as well. When I was in my early teens, I actually really wanted to join the Air Force, even though in my early teens I was a communist and I had, very, very anti-American views just in general. I still wanted to join the military because I thought the military was really cool and I thought the Air Force was really cool. I wanted to work on planes, but unfortunately, because of my mental health problems, I will never be allowed in the military. Funny thought, a quasi-neat lifestyle concept. You didn't I didn't see the rest of your post. Southern Hicks aren't racist anymore. You're all good. Yeah, I agree. Southern Hicks basically aren't racist anymore. Do you think Los Angeles is better than New York? Absolutely not. No fucking way. Los Angeles is not anywhere near as dense as it should be. It takes forever to get around. It's car dependent hell. The public transportation in New York is so much better. And I like New Yorkers as people a lot more. I think New Yorkers are far more honest than just about everybody from the West Coast, and I think they're funnier too. I think the New York sense of humor is a lot funnier than people from Los Angeles or the West Coast in general. New York City has more soul than any Cali city. 100%. Absolutely agree. There's just such a long history there. So many different ethnic groups that have brought the culture of their country. So much small time activity that may have been there, literally for hundreds of years. It's just an amazing city. Comparing LA to NY is like comparing a stale piece of bread to a chocolate chip cookie. 100%. That's a that's a really good comparison. NYC is too expensive. You're implying LA is less expensive. I mean, it probably is less expensive if I had to guess. I don't actually know. Maybe not when you account for the fact that you can just walk everywhere. LA needs more skyscrapers and less lame suburban homes. 100%. I agree. It's just three different people saying sup. Hello, welcome to the chat. I feel like if there's more social restraints on what you can say, the humor of a place is going to be garbage. I agree. I don't know how those Canadians do it though, because there's a lot of social restraints on what you can say in Canada, and there's a lot of Canadian TV shows and comedians that are really funny. I think maybe in a way, the restraints that are placed on them socially force them to think outside the box and to be more creative because they can't be as vulgar. And so on the other side of the coin, depending on how skilled you are as a humorist, it could actually work the other way. Hi, it's been great seeing you upload a lot of videos this month. I have been busy with community college, so I haven't got around to listening to all of your recent videos. Well, hello there, Jane S. It's great to see you still watching the channel after all these years, and I completely understand that you're busy with this stuff. I mean, I don't expect anyone to be able to keep up with all of my output, given that there's so much of it. What is up? Oh, I've been depressed, so I decided to start doing a live stream. Hey Osaka, it's me, Senzi. How are you? Well, I think I just said how I was doing, but I feel like I'm doing a little better than I was when I started out. Um, do you like Miami or Florida in general? I do not like Florida in general, but because it's such a big state, I do think there's some good things it's got going on. It's way too fucking hot. The fact that it's so hot and also humid at the same time is just awful. I hate humidity and I hate the heat. So, not a huge fan of the weather, but they've got some really interesting animals there. Like the alligator and crocodile are cool as shit. They also have the Florida mountain lion. I believe that's what it's called. There's a mountain lion that's native to Florida. I believe the lower half of the state that's really cool. Not a huge fan of Miami. I've only been there a couple of times in my life, but the scene wasn't my thing, and a lot of the immigrants there can be a little obnoxious. Not to say anything bad about immigrants, but just, the Miami Cubans, they can be a little obnoxious. Now, and that doesn't speak for all of them, but some of them definitely can be. So I'm not huge on that place. I think there's some soulful parts of like, I don't know, Tampa Bay or St. Petersburg. There are things to like in Florida, but it's just not my scene. Um, if Canadians are from Alberta or Manitoba, they are more based. I agree 100%. I love French Quebec, such a fun place. I've never been there myself, but I love how Quebec is basically tsundere to the rest of Canada. I think that's extremely based. I'm quite suspicious of Frenchies, nothing racist. I just think they should speak English. Um, I mean, I think multilingualism is cool. I think it's a cool policy. I think we should have it in the United States. I think we should all be speaking English and Spanish. I know I would love to be able to speak Spanish. Even if France is a terrible country itself, yeah, France is fucking awful. Talking your thoughts does help distract from sad thoughts. Amen. I visited France. Southern France is really cool, but you need money. Yeah, you need money in basically all of Western Europe. It sucks. Um, I will say some restrictions on what can be allowed to be said does make humor more creative. I've done that in servers I'm in, and it's worked out decently. Yeah, I'm glad you can see my point there. Um, Paris is less cool, and you need a lot of money. Yeah, for sure. It's like going to fucking Munich. Do you take the China pill? Also, Hollebeck is really being slept on as an author. Specifically, serotonin and submission are his best, in my opinion. Yeah, serotonin is his best. I also think he is an incredibly underrated author. One of the best of our time. I mean, well, actually, no, he is the best of our time as far as modern authors are concerned. Authors in general, I think he's one of the best. I do not take the China pill, no. I think China is a totalitarian fascist state, and I would never want to live in a place like that. Um, I think certain aspects of their culture are cool. I think we could learn certain things from their government. I think for the most part, they should be left alone. I would really like it if they built some high-speed rail in America. I'm seeing death grips in Ireland soon. Hell yeah. Do you plan on visiting Japan anytime soon? No. That is way too expensive. You know, I live on disability. It's it's impossible for me to make a journey like that unless I had like a Japanese friend who was willing to fork over the cost because they really wanted to see me, but I do not know anyone of that sort. So I'm, in America for the time being. But, not a problem for me because, I've got the woman that I love staying with me here, and it's an amazing country. I'm really glad to, be here in the United States. But of course, if I had the money, I definitely would visit Japan. I would visit a lot of countries if I could afford to, though. I really wish students were taught more efficiently at language learning. The problem is like classroom format and allocation of time for each student to practice speaking their target language. Yeah, I mean, if you're not reading and speaking in your target language, if you're not consuming media in the target language, everything that you learn during classroom hours is just going to fall right out of your head. I like Quebec because they are ruining the rest of Canada so we can annex the maple syrup land. Haha, JK, unless. Okay, so just to be clear, for any, people who may not know my stance on this issue, I do not support wars of aggression or violence of any kind. I was reading a remark by someone in the chat who claimed they wanted to, quote, annex maple syrup land and then claimed that that was a joke. This is not my opinion. This is not a thing that I believe. So, just for anyone who wants clarification on that, I was reading a quote from someone else. I do not support wars of aggression or violence of any kind. Um, let's see here. Jane S., what are you studying for? That's a good question. Hello, Osaka. Is it okay if I sample your voice for sound art stuff? Yeah, go ahead. It's an honor to be a part of someone's art project. Yes, plus China has that weird one China policy thing I'm adverse to. I think they changed it to a two-child policy, but yeah, I don't like that either. That dollar store video was top tier, lol. If I ever had to work retail, I would probably work somewhere like that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably work somewhere like that too. I'm trying to get a job right now. Um, I could fix all their population issues if they, quote, let me in. I think the implication there is that this person would fuck everybody. I'm glad you found some kind of happiness with someone you love. Based. Well, thank you. You said you're engaged? Question mark. Have you written any vows? I've been with my girl for like 4 years, looking for some mutual ideas. Um, I did not write vows, but I wrote a two-page love letter a little bit before I asked her I asked her to marry me. I wrote a 2-page love letter as a gift for her before I did that. And I just explicitly referred to her as my wife in that letter without having asked her if she would marry me yet. So I like the way that I act around this woman is very, very direct and assertive. And she really liked the fact that I referred to her as that in that letter. But as far as advice is concerned, um, I wouldn't know what to tell you. I haven't written any vows. I wrote that letter, but it was all based on stuff that was very personal to the two of us. Um, I've heard people say that anything before reading, wait, I've heard people say that anything before reading for more than 10 minutes in your target language is basically just preparation. Yeah, I mean, I would be prone to agree with that. Um, how's your night going? Decently now. I've been having fun on this live stream. Talking directly to Canadian feds right now. That's funny. Um, I'm surprised of how much stuff you know about and have in-depth opinions and thoughts about topics. I think it's because I have a good memory. Being able to remember a lot of stuff helps you remember a lot of your opinions on stuff and a lot of the information required to form an opinion in the first place. Calls to violence is just cringe. I agree. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Autism achieves amazing things. I say this as a fellow autist king. Yeah, that's the other thing. Having autism uh, helps a lot with this. I wish I had autism. It's a great thing to have. Any video games that you have been recently, I think you mean have been playing recently. I've been playing Castle Shikigami number 2 on the PlayStation 2. I've also been playing Metal Slug 5. Both really good games. Me and Sophia have been playing Burnout 3 together as well on 2-player. And we were playing Metal Slug together the other day as well. Both really fun games. Games that I've played multiple times, but I don't usually play brand new video games anymore, like games I haven't played before just because I don't game that much. You can get autism if you spend enough time in the World Wide Web. It could be true. Could be true. Um, I'm studying all-rounder course on the creative industry like camera, lighting, graphic design, and sound design. It's more or less a foot in the door for what I want to do professionally in the future. Nice. Sigma Osaka. Um, hiding in my room video title. I can't get to sleep, so I'll just ask this. Do you ever mind-numbingly scroll through the same 5 sites just to find something that'll satisfy you but can't find it? I don't want to go on Web 2.0. Rant no number 754. Yeah, I've done that many times actually. I try to refrain from doing that because it's just not a very good place to be in your life. I think that kind of boredom can quickly snowball into something really, really toxic. That's extremely cute. I hope you nothing but the best. Haha. Looking forward to a video on the wedding. Well, thank you very much. Um, I was actually planning on doing a video because I need 2 witnesses for when the wedding happens. I need 2 witnesses to write their name on the marriage license after the man officiating the wedding, um, does his whole thing and we say our vows to each other. I need 2 witnesses for that. So I was actually considering making a video that just directly asks my audience if somebody lives in New Mexico or around New Mexico, if they would come to Albuquerque to uh, be a witness to my wedding. I was considering doing a YouTube video asking the internet that. Being on the World Wide Web too much just made me paranoid thinking words were going to kill me. This is a thing that happens to many people, actually. Follow-up question, thoughts on the dead internet theory? I don't know anything about it, unfortunately. Osaka is part of the AIC, Autism Industrial Complex. It very well could be true. Autism supremacy? True. Autism master race? Based Metal Slug enjoyer. Metal Slug is great. A greeting says Devoid. Hi, how are you doing? The internet did kind of exacerbate my autism. Yeah, I mean, I think it happens because you're not being forced into the real world where you have to know social cues and everything else just to be able to like get by. When you're on the internet, everyone is kind of autistic because you're all communicating through text and language, and there's a lot less emphasis on the unspoken undercurrent of socializing. Metal Slug 3 has a great OST track with the zombie level. I agree. Um, I believe the theory that being too online can make you stray psychologically into autism. It's very possible. Yo, are you in Albuquerque? Yes, I am. I think I'm pretty good at spotting mental illnesses. You very well might be. Lol based Osaka. You anywhere near Walter White's house? No, I am not. We need eyewitnesses. Dude, just check if they have Discord. Have you seen any of the Breaking Bad slash BCS film locations? I have. This is actually not the first time that I've been here. I've been here before, although I've spent most of my time when I was in New Mexico in Santa Fe rather than in Albuquerque because there's more cool stuff in Santa Fe. But I have seen some of those locations. What do you think about the resurgence of the Resident Evil franchise, especially with Resident Evil 4 getting a remake? I think it's great that a lot of people are playing these games again. I don't personally care for the remakes, nor am I particularly interested in playing them, but that's because I've played and enjoyed the original games. Sometimes I wish I could be a NEET. I would enjoy it very much, but I plan on being a game developer in the meantime since I can't get NEET bucks. Might as well do something I care passionately about. That's amazing. I mean, yeah, if there's not something that you want to do, I feel like as far as jobs are concerned, it's probably good to do something that you can do. Um, but if that's what you're into and you think you'd want to do as a profession, that's great to hear. Let's see here. Um, mhm. Wow, 24 viewers. I don't usually get this many viewers on my live streams. Um, wow. But yeah, if any of my viewers are in Albuquerque, New Mexico, you might see Osaka Syndrome just out and about, just around. I would love to work on a Resident Evil style game or even work on the series itself. I'm currently playing the Resident Evil 4 remake. It's so damn good. Um, yeah, I mean the Resident Evil series is very good in general. Osaka is World Star famous? I don't think so. Um, but thank you for the remark nonetheless. Any number above five is unfathomable to me. Yeah, I did not like Resident Evil 6. I wasn't a fan. Do you have any experiences with the Silent Hill games? Yes, I love the Silent Hill games. Um, Literally all of them. I actually like the games that they made after The Room. So Silent Hill Downpour, Silent Hill Homecoming. Even those games I like. Even though they're way worse, I can acknowledge that. I kind of like them as their own thing, like not applying like the expectations I would have to the other games in the series that are way better. If you kind of take them as their own thing, those games are really good. Um, Imagine having 24 people in a room watching you communicating only by written letters they slide across the floor to you. Yeah, that would be pretty nuts. Do you enjoy sword and sorcery? I do not. I was referring to your viewer numbers, not RE games. Oh, I see. Um, what would you do? What do you mean, what would I do? Like in reference to what? Um, Squid, that'd the what the do in prison, lol. Oh, that's what they do in prison. So he's referring to the passing the letters on the floor thing. Yeah, that's how certain bloggers who make posts online from prison do it. They have their website ran by somebody on the outside. They just give them letters to post to the blog. Japanese game devs make the best games. I agree. Does your wife play any mobile games? She plays RuneScape on mobile. I see the Devin Hendricks cover on the stream thumbnail. Nice. Imagine running in OnlyFans from prison. I guess there would be a lot of rape roleplay, or maybe not roleplay. I'm backing straight away from that one. Does she like Raid Shadow Legends? She does not, but that would be really funny if she did. There must be demand for that. Oh my goodness. I might get her on the stream later, but for now it's just me talking to y'all. I I don't know how the viewers in general have reacted to Sophia yet because I've been having her in more videos recently, and she's kind of just figuring out how to appear on camera and how to be comfortable on camera. Like I try to physically comfort her when we're doing a video because I know she's nervous, and also I just really like touching her. Um, I think I see her almost like a comfort object. Autistic people have these objects that they like to touch and grab and have around them all the time as a form of comfort. And I've always had that, but now it feels like I have that towards a person, where now she is a comfort object for me. But I try to comfort her when we're making videos because I know that she's a little nervous. Um, but I don't know how most people have reacted to her being on the channel yet because she's still getting used to making videos. I personally think she's done a really good job. Let's see here. The internet is amazing. You can get so much info, and yet I got more insane and crazy from it. Not in a good way, lol. Yeah, I mean, it can drive you nuts if you're not careful with it. That's definitely true. But I'm personally very grateful for the internet, for all the people that it's allowed me to meet and the things that it's helped me learn. I'm gonna head out. You have a great night, Osaka. Enjoy all your vids. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good night as well. Sophia is cool? Awesome. I think so too. Um, I sometimes see the internet as a gateway to the realm of chaos. True. More like drop the soap roleplay. Um, Implying women are objects. Keg. Osaka calling his wife an object. OMG based. Um, I walked right into that one, didn't I? And the more it leaks into the reality, the crazier society becomes. Yeah, I agree. Sophia's cool to watch because hearing her makes me motivated to reach my feminine voice goals. Awesome to hear. Her voice is extremely pleasant, isn't it? Like I feel like I could listen to her talk literally all day. Don't want to sound like CWC, lol. Oh my goodness. I've been told the best way to do M to F voice training is to just learn to sing first. Yeah, I wouldn't know the first thing about it. Oh, so, hello. I am inquiring about your knowledge on the um I don't know about this subject. I feel like you're trying to get me to say something that I shouldn't say. So I'm just gonna leave that one alone. I don't know anything about this, but it doesn't sound good, whatever it is that you're asking me about my knowledge about. You ever read those stories where a philosopher gets the key to an infinite library and goes crazy? That's the internet. I don't know about that. I haven't read those stories, but yeah, I mean, as a concept, I, uh, I definitely see what you mean. Google it. It's a meme, I think. Yeah, it sounds like a meme that that would be very inappropriate, and people often try to say things that have like a hidden meaning or are inappropriate or illegal. They often try to say those things in my stream chat, and I read them really quickly before I actually read them out loud. So I don't follow I I I don't follow those traps or the path into those traps. Reading, that's more brain skill than browsing the web, though, at Arm Melon. Um, I don't think so, no. Osaka figured us out. It's a joke about homosexual black men. I see. Was not aware. Hope everyone is having a great night. Thank you. I hope so as well. I'm going to head out now to do my assignments. Peace be with you for the rest of the stream and the rest of the night. Thank you very much. And I echo the same sentiments back to you. Yeah, I did figure you guys out. I figured you guys out way before I ever started streaming regularly, because I just know that this is the kind of thing that happens when you have people who, you know, people who are on 4chan or Kiwi Farms or like the edgier parts of the internet. I know that this is just kind of what you have to expect. Um, yeah, so I've figured out all the cues to know when people are trying to do that kind of stuff. Um, you know, I've seen the lolcow shit around. When did you create your username? Do you have any fun username creation stories? Mine is a reference to fishing equipment. Yeah, I created this username back in 2020 and I've kept it ever since. I created it because of a meme that my friend Rags sent to me that said instead of brain there is Osaka, Osaka syndrome. And that was just like an iteration of a popular meme that had like a brain and then some character or pop culture icon on the inside of it, and it would use that template. Um, but it had Osaka from Azumanga Daioh. And he sent me this meme and said that that was me because I had been hiding this exact same image of Osaka in my thumbnails or in my videos as an Easter egg. I didn't think anything of it. At that time, my username was, I think that was back when my username was Star. Um, and I put that there because I just thought it looked cool. But then I was told that, and I was like, oh my God, this perfectly describes what I've been doing with the aesthetics on my channel. So I'm going to change my name to this, and it's going to be easier for people who want to search up my channel to search it up because no one else has that name. I also thought that it would be a fun opportunity to go head first into like the schizo thumbnails and titles thing, where I could reference all kinds of stuff related to the show because it was now part of my branding. I also thought that it was cool because I've always tried to have this like old internet feeling with my channel, and Azumanga Daioh, the show that character is from, was very crucial to old internet culture. So that was that. I've had a bunch of other usernames over the years, but it would take forever to go through the stories surrounding all of them. The basic thing is I tend to get usernames based on stuff that just my friends call me or my friends have come up with because I'm not great at coming up with names. Do you ever kind of miss the 2020 lockdown? Yes, I do. I really liked the feeling of observing everybody collectively lose their minds. And I also liked being paid to basically stay in the house and not do anything. Um, What's the most hours you put into a video game? I have no idea. I know it would have had to have been a video game that I played uh, years ago before consoles had that feature that allowed you to track the amount of time. You know, certain original Xbox games I put hundreds of hours into. Let's see, just a copy pasta this guy wrote. Somebody's begging me to say a word that I'm not going to say. Uh, what was the user before 2020? The user? Oh, the username? Um, it was Star. If I ever see Osaka roaming in the wild, I'll scream. Awesome. Um, I feel like the only one here that doesn't browse 4chan only did it like four-ish times, and I can barely remember what for. There are lots of viewers of my channel who don't look on 4chan. Some of them are actually Redditors. Um, I literally saw you referenced on Kiwi Farms on a post while just lurking. It was like a week after I unsubbed from you, and I got a bit paranoid after that. Can you like link me the post or something? I I'm really curious about this, um, because I was not aware that I'm still being talked about on Kiwi Farms. I've seen like one or two posts about me on there just by looking up my username, and then I found it through that. But I didn't know people were still talking about me on there. That's crazy. I love the schizo titles and thumbnails. Well, thank you very much. How do you make your thumbnails? I just put images into the editor, Sony Vegas, sometimes GIMP. Usually I just do it on the timeline on Sony Vegas. I throw a bunch of random crap that I think would look good together into the timeline on Sony Vegas, and then I have a YouTube thumbnail. Speaking of Kiwi Farms and 4chan and those more forbidden-ish parts of the internet, are you at all familiar with the offensive word? If you don't know what it is, just don't look into it. Yeah, I mean, I could tell just by reading that word in my head that it doesn't sound great, so I'm gonna leave that one be. Good, don't get involved with forehand. It mentally wrecked me for months, and I still can't get away from it. Well, I hope that you're able to recover sooner rather than later. That's a difficult thing to go through, I would imagine. What was the hardest social cue for you to learn and master? To be quite honest with you, I don't think I have mastered any of them. And all of them have felt equally hard to learn simply because I learned them logically, and then I have immense difficulty applying them on a practical level. You know, I'll have them in my head, but unless I have a response to a situation that I've rehearsed again and again and again and again, and I'm not repeating it verbatim, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's even harder to figure out body language because I'll be focusing on what I'm supposed to be saying, and it takes so much mental energy just to know what I'm going to say and to say it, and then at the same time to have to focus on eye contact, which takes so much energy out of me and makes it almost impossible to know what I'm going to say. To have to focus on that and then focus on reading the body language and also doing body language that isn't off-putting, it feels awful. It feels so awful. 2020 gives me PTSD. I don't relate to that. 2020 was the closest year I deleted myself. Yeah, everybody seems to say stuff like this. I really loved that year. 2020 was the year I became a conscious human being and started existing. Well, you're pretty young, so what were you like, 16 that year? I mean, it makes sense. Can confirm, I am an intermittent or occasional Redditor for the lulz. That's pretty funny. R slash neat thread on KF? Okay, I think I know the thread you're talking about. 2020 I knew was the year I knew heaven on earth was real. Interesting. I'll tell my children about 2020. I think we all will. That is a really based and roundabout way of making thumbnails. Well, thank you. Speaking of old internet, I sometimes wish I soaked in the early tens, but I fear I might have ended up a furry or something worse. It's possible. Something interesting is that people say I give off major 4chan slash Redditor vibes when I basically don't use Reddit or 4chan. That's just a thing people say as a shorthand for basically any weird or eccentric person. Furries are the best individuals to ever bless this cursed earth. I can see where you're coming from. I don't think they're as bad as people say. I think it's interesting to see people being, genuine or unabashed about the things that they like. Um, but I also don't think I'd have been dumb enough to fall victim to, for most stuff, but I don't know. I can't really remember what younger me was like. I get scared of that part right before conversation when you are moving toward each other. I don't know if I meant to say anything because what if I'm like too far away for them to hear me? I relate a lot to that. LMAO, somebody thought I was a lit browser because I mentioned a fantasy novel on a Discord server. Oh my goodness. Exactly. Like, in order for me to just order food, I have to rehearse it exactly in my head with the same rhythm I chose. I don't have autism, but I imagine it's a little similar-ish. If you have social anxiety, that's something that people with social anxiety can experience. I relate to that a lot. That's something that I have to do as well. Um, 2020 was the year I first got psychosis. Oof. I really enjoy your content. It's very poetic and honest. Well, thank you very much. Have a great stream. Well, you have a great rest of your day. 2020 got me interested in civil unrest and the psychology behind it. Awesome. I mean, that's a very interesting subject to explore for sure. Somebody thought I was an A browser because I liked this one manga that was popular on 4chan. Um, yeah, I mean, you get certain shows or books, and then they become associated with certain boards simply because of how many people on there like that content. Yep, it is unfortunately. Oh, it's OCD, I see. Oh my goodness. Neutral Milk Hotel. Neutral Milk Hotel is a good band. I don't browse Mew though. Let's see. You know how the permanent tiles are kind of layered out in that brick format? I'm not sure if this is an autism thing, but I align my feet with the lines of the pavement. That's pretty epic. Um, I don't know if that's an autism thing. For every social interaction, I have some hard hard-coded responses, but when it comes to small talk, I just never engage in it. Yeah, I relate to that a lot. I hate OCD. I'd trade it for autism or ADHD if I could. Show us your bed setup. There's not really much of a setup. There's just this light here. Is that light there? And then there's that light over there. But there's not really a setup. I have a lot of sex in this bed. Let's see here. Autists are the next step in evolution. Aren't there evolutionary reasons for why autism occurred? Human evolution? I mean, if you think about it, we're all getting on the internet, and if everybody who's on the internet becomes autistic because of the way the internet is arranged socially, and then if everybody is becoming autistic and they're also all doing remote work and remote school, it could be that the way that autistic people are was actually the way that everybody is going to be the more we move towards remote work and remote schooling. You're ever just scared of people, question mark, especially a couple showing signs of public intimacy. I am never scared of a couple showing public signs of intimacy. In fact, sometimes I see it and I feel quite happy for them. However, I am just scared of people. When I go out and someone walks by me, my first response is a fear response. I actually feel physically scared when someone walks by me or whenever I see someone. When I'm walking down the street, I'll have to stare down somebody who's walking literally on the other sidewalk because I think they're going to assault me or mug me or do some kind of thing to me. And it's a terrifying experience because all I'm thinking about is how afraid I am. Even when I'm not thinking about it, I feel scared of it. I learned all the social cues by just listening to podcasts with very charismatic people and mimicking the way that they entertain people. I relate to that a lot. I basically learned how to talk from imitating the YouTuber who used to be called Digibro. They're now called Yig Studio or Trixie the Golden Witch. Many of my speaking habits I copied from her, who used to be a he. I copied many of them from her. However, as I've continued to do my own content and practice doing these videos, I've actually developed, I think, my own unique manner of speaking that feels specific to me. So it started out with mimicking how she spoke, and now I just kind of mimic the way that I speak. Public displays of affection intimidate me. Understandable. Public displays of emotion make me feel like the Grinch. Based. Yeah, honestly, even when it's not public, when I see people who are just really overly enthusiastic about something like, for example, the way that food tastes, I just have to feel like, like what is going on with you, There my watch was here somewhere. It was here somewhere. I just heard it beep, and now I don't know where it is. Well, okay. Um, how I learned social cues. I didn't. Sleepycast made me learn how to talk to people. Autistics in aquatic subspecies. It's hilarious to me that you say this title of that video because No linked me that video just today. Give me a hut in the woods with good internet and I'll be happy. Away from the couples, of course. Yeah, I relate a lot to wanting to be rural and off the grid. Literally, all you need to make men happy is give them a PC and an internet connection. You can make money online, it's fine. Yeah, usually when I'm out and about on the streets or going to a restaurant, I get the creeping feeling that someone is watching me or inching towards me, so I look back and forth constantly to check. I relate to that so much. Is it a Casio watch? Yes, it is. It's actually a watch that my wife gave to me. Same with me, but I don't think about people assaulting me or when I walk by. I just look down at the ground or at the phone to avoid any interaction. I relate to that a lot. However, I've trained myself to look straight ahead. I've trained myself to look straight ahead or up even, so it doesn't look like that I'm looking down. Old couples are really wholesome, however. I wish them good luck in my mind. Nice. How did you meet your wife? A Discord 3 years ago. Let's see. Think I sort of learned them from a forum back in 2006, 2018-ish, despite only having 1.5k posts. Huh. How long have you been a Vegemite connoisseur? I ate it like all my life. Am Australian, don't live there though. Do you remember the first time you had it? The first time I ate Vegemite was literally at No Thank You's house. So I hadn't had Vegemite ever before that point. I had it in the UK and I loved it. And after that, I knew that I had to buy it when I got back to the United States. So we don't sell it in stores here. I bought it off Amazon. I'd like to own a farm near the woods or the outside society with a wife. Just farming would work. That really is the dream, although, like Arm Mellon just said, it's really hard back-breaking work. I know this personally because my grandfather on my mom's side had a farm and it was right next to the house that I grew up in. So all of his land was right next to our land, and I even participated in some of the basic farm work with him there. I wish Kinder Joy eggs were legal in the US. The law sucks. It really does suck, doesn't it? I wish we had like a Shenzhen agreement. I think that's what it's called, that the EU has for free movement. But I wish we had that between the US and Canada. I feel like our nations are so similar and we're so intertwined economically. Having free movement across the border and the ability to work in Canada if you're from the US, it makes so much sense to me. Osaka, do you own any flags? I own a Don't Tread on Me flag. Kinder Joy eggs are legal. Just go to the shoddy Korean/Indian restaurants. If you attached some wheels and tied some Shire horses to a Kaczynski shed, would you choose to live like that? Probably not. Um, Canada is just America, but in denial. I mean, our infrastructure is definitely the same, but, and also Canadian national identity is basically entirely rooted on not being the United States. And you can actually see this literally every time a big news event happens in the United States. Canada does a law in direct response to that news event. So, for example, when Paul Martin was the Prime Minister of Canada in the early 2000s, it was during a time when we had a contentious re-election campaign for George H.W. Bush, or George what W. I meant W, right? His son, but George Bush's son, the one that was there in the 2000s. I think W is his name. I get those two mixed up so fucking easily, and it pisses me off. But W was president, and when he won re-election, it was primarily on a culture war campaign about homosexual marriage because the state of Massachusetts in 2002 became the first state in the Union to recognize same-sex marriage, which happened to be the home state of Senator John Kerry, who was running against W. Bush. And so I think the Canadian government had seen this culture war happening in the United States, and they saw a bunch of court rulings at the provincial level which said, hey, gay marriage is legal now, you can have it. And the prime minister, the liberal prime minister there, basically looked at this and said, okay, let's do gay marriage now because Americans are upset about it. Americans really don't like it. Even though this one state legalized it for, the first time in any state, let's kind of ignore that, brush that under the rug, or maybe let's pay attention to it and do it before more states do it so we can look better than all of the states combined. Like, I think this is the mindset. It's this weird, like, liberal nationalist, like, anti-Americanism that I feel like permeates so much of Canadian politics. Here's another example. What happened in 2018? Justin Trudeau legalized marijuana nationwide. His Liberal Party introduced a bill to do exactly that during the same year when Donald Trump's Attorney General was trying to use the power of the Justice Department to persecute states that had legalized recreational marijuana. I feel like you look at the timing of these things. Every single time the United States is having a culture war issue, a political issue, a shooting that is heavily divisive in America, Canada looks at that and they go way in the other direction. They just go all the way over to the most progressive side because their national identity is we are not them. We won the War of 1812. We took over all of Maine and then gave it back for some reason. And we showed the big guys downtown, what for. And basically ever since then, they've been doing things time in, time out to try and look more progressive than us, to be more progressive than us. And that's all they got. As a nation, that is all they got as far as identity is concerned. To be pedantic, Kinder Joy eggs are legal in the US, and you can find them in most grocery stores, but they are different from Kinder Surprise eggs that are not approved by the FDA. Thank you for the autism. Kinder Surprise eggs, not joy eggs. Sorry, I'm not a Kinder lore expert. Do you think Human King will die out in the next 100 years, and if so, what will cause it? I don't think humankind will die out in the next 100 years. I think it'll be multiple hundred years after that, and it'll be due to climate change. Maybe farming on a small plot with just a few animals would be fulfilling. Farming anything more than 5 acres slash 6+ animals is actual work, however. I now like my YouTube home recommendations, but for my own good, can't show people what it looks like. Such a dilemma. That's pretty funny. Um, let's see here. YouTube recommended me as a kid with autism using Windows 7 in October 2022. Windows 7 is oddly pretty. I agree. I'm glad someone else can see it. Primitive Technology YouTube is really good. I have him subbed on my other channel. I guess what he's doing and living is the dream too. I agree. Um, the online Trump fanboyism of the mid and late 2010s was secondhand embarrassing. Political party called CUP, Canada Unity Party. Didn't it turn out that channel was fake and everything was recorded in their backyard? I thought so. Um, I can't comment on this thing that Lucky LU7 just said. I believe this claim is factually inaccurate. I'm sorry, I just can't comment on that. I could tell that he had issues. It was sad, but Windows 7 in 2022 was so funny he upgraded to Windows 10 in November of 2022. Wasn't he exposed for being fake slash using construction tools? That's really funny. I didn't know that. Um, did you like UKIP or Brexit back then? And briefly, why? Um, I wasn't a fan of UKIP, but I used to be a big Brexit supporter because I thought, getting the UK out of the EU would mean that they could nationalize more of their resources. I think humanity will sur— Oh yeah, the other reason I was against the EU was because I saw it as an imperialist institution backed by the United States. That was the primary reason I supported Brexit. I wanted to see Europe fall apart. Nowadays, I think they probably should be in the EU. I think humanity will survive for dozens or thousands of years, but high-tech society is on borrowed time because resources are limited. But I doubt we're going to mine asteroids anytime soon. I agree. My recommended list is just a bunch of ASMR. I can't sleep to anything else. I was talking about in reference to a fictional thing I wrote. Oh, okay. Maybe just Bronze Age hunter-gatherer type? You heard EDP 445 is— Oh, okay. I'm not reading that one. I'm sorry. I just can't read that one. There's some offensive language in this, so I would rather not read that. Um, it took place in the future where Canada got taken over by a right-wing party, and other crazy stuff was happening in the world. Interesting. Yeah, one of my favorite books is this book called Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said, and it's about a fictional United States where it gets taken over by a totalitarian racist government. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the prime minister up there for those costumes that he wears. I mean, he's always wearing these racist costumes. You would think that, someone who's supposed to be so tolerant and accepting, for the party of immigrants and whatnot, wouldn't be wearing so many racist costumes. And not only that, he also fired the first female indigenous attorney general. And I just think that was a little messed up. Can you shout out? I don't know who that is, but because I don't know who that is, I'm not going to read that. Lucky LU7 says, and America is in a second civil war where basically a gay ISIS is on the West Coast. Interesting. I've been having some weird leg pains lately, and I think my knee grows. I see. Damn, you dodged my epic trolling. I feel like everybody's trying to do this to me now. But yeah, I hope your leg pain will resolve itself soon. AI image generation is amazing. Um, I don't think it looks that good. I don't think it looks that good. Um, I'll be honest, it has this uncanny valley feeling to it. Um, Osaka did not say the N-word. I don't know where you're getting this idea. Um, but yeah, I don't think AI image generation is great. It has this uncanny valley feeling to it where I know it was made by a computer. Can't believe he owns a country. I do not own a country. Um, yeah. I need to take a fucking shower. My hair is all greasy again, but I feel like, I almost have like an excuse. Your bed has a headboard? Yes, it does. I feel like I almost have an excuse. Um, it came with the place. I was gonna say I almost have an excuse to not shower because Sophia really, really likes the way that I smell when I get all like musty and have been, moving around a lot and haven't been showering for a while. I don't know why. It turns her on so much. So sometimes I feel like I'm lazy about it in a way that I wouldn't be when I was, living with other people. I'm lazy about it now in a way that I wouldn't be because it feels like I almost have an excuse to not shower as much as I normally would. Let's see here. No, your hair, but still looking fresh. Is it because it's short? Also, hello, trapped in my psyche. I wish I was a king. I do not. I don't think I should be in charge of anything. Did you watch that anime made by AI about rock, paper, scissors? I've seen people talk about it. I haven't seen it personally. What about AI voicing? I mean, I think AI voicing is better than the image generation software. When you do a video talking about marriage, do you think it will be in the important videos playlist? Yeah, probably. AI images of fake terrain landscapes are pretty. I haven't seen many of them. Pheromone maxing. She's also a fellow sweat addict. Glad to know I'm not the only one. Based. I feel like ranting on and on about my fictional world. I work on it with my friends. Working on projects with pals is really fun. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's always better to make some kind of thing with somebody else. It's a collaborative effort that can bring you closer to somebody. Hmm. Thoughts on AI generated hentai? I haven't seen any of it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any of it, so I can't really have any thoughts on it. PAL maxing? What is PAL maxing? Oh, I see. Working on projects with friends. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so what if there are drug cartels in Canada and it's the cop gov versus the cartels? What about Quebec? Same thing. Very fun. Yeah, that sounds like quite an endearing project to be sure. If feel free to send me what you've written onto Discord if you have me on Discord. which you can also find if you go to my Steam profile, which is linked on YouTube. Um, you can add me on Discord, and I'd love to read some of the stuff that you uh, that you're writing. I'm working on a book. It's really hard, but making my own world and its lore is fun. Nice. Oh, I just noticed you are wearing a Pat the Bunny shirt, though that's not really unexpected from you, I guess. Yeah, probably not unexpected. That is my favorite musician. Do you want me to give you my tag? Sure, go on ahead. Started messing with vocal synthesizers, so instead of using animations like Yamai Online from Deco, I rap, then replace the voice with an AI voice synthesizer using my own real body. Flesh Eating Insecurities is the name of the first music video. Working on one music video a month. It's been gaining steam. Many like it, some hate it. The flow is a combination of Lil B, Young Lean, and etc. Most of my influences into one. I'll have to check it out then. I am subscribed to you on YouTube, so I can check it out. You should write your own book and sell it on the black markets. Isn't that just called self-publishing? Um, I've been writing a book off and on, but I don't always have the motivation to do it, so I don't know if it'll ever get finished. When are you going to get the fashionable broccoli haircut? Probably not anytime soon. Um, my works are too eccentric for anyone's eyes. Maybe. Um, I have not worked on my manga in a year. The lack of being extremely mentally ill and sober all the time is disrupting it. Yeah, I mean, art is kind of like a drug. So I feel like the more sober you are, the more art you're going to make because art is a drug. I never have ideas for stories. I'd like to write, but nothing ever comes to mind. I've got ideas for stories, but it's difficult to keep up with them because I tend to need to write short stuff. Being sober is good. Don't give up. Thank you. If that was directed at me, I think it was directed at Rusty. So yeah, I second that. Don't give up. Let's see here. There's this one I would have made, but it's so god awfully complicated and surreal that only me and this other friend can work on, but it's so fun still. Nice. What is your relationship like with sleep schedules? Also, do you like Radiohead? I'm a fan of Radiohead. I'm a fan of Radiohead. Some of their albums I don't re-listen to, like that one with In Rainbows on it is good, but I'm not huge on it, so I don't go back to it very often. Um, all their other albums I like for the most part. As for my relationship with sleep schedules, I've always been nocturnal. And I've had trouble keeping the same sleep schedule, but sleeping in this bed with Sophia and also sleeping with her in general, it's the first time that I've consistently had the same sleep schedule. I wake up in the morning and I go to sleep at night. And I feel like I derive a great deal of comfort from sleeping in the same bed with her because it's pressed reset on my mind where my previous sleeping issues they're just not there anymore. And now I have a much easier time being able to get to sleep. So my relationship with sleep schedules in the past used to be extremely erratic, but now it's relatively consistent. Where do I find your new Discord? You can find my Discord tag on my Steam profile. So if you go to my Steam profile, which is just Osaka Syndrome, I literally have it in the description there. That being said, we're, getting close to an hour and 40 minutes now. And I am also running out of battery on this phone, so I think I'm going to head off of stream. But I appreciate everybody who came out and was active in the chat. You gave me so many interesting things to think about and to talk about, and I appreciate you all so much. I will also remember to add you, LU7. I'll remember to add you after this. But with all that being said, um, I I think that's it for me. Oh, wait, Josh just said something. I'm going to read this really quick and then I'm going to head off. There can no longer be any absolute inside, for the outside has insinuated itself into the movement by which the inside of the non-spatial, which is called time, appears, is constituted, is presented. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to say about that. But thank you for your contribution. I don't see it. My name on Discord is my name Chris. Okay. Osaka, we love you. Ah, I love you too, Wiki. All right, later, dude. Congrats. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a good night. Um, to all of the rest of you, thought you'd stream for like 7 hours. This was only like 30 minutes. Hey, I got things to do. I'm a busy guy these days. All right, good night, everyone. And thank you for coming out to the stream. Bye bye.